Happy Friday, everyone. It is March 22nd, and these are the activities for digital media. So as you know, we're completing presentations today, and these are the Forest Park in St. Louis presentations. We're going to begin visual guidelines, so we'll discuss or begin discussing visual guidelines. And on that information, I want you to start expecting a quiz probably on Tuesday, March 26th. And then we're going to complete the weekly self-assessment. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at a few of those activities. I'm going to look at the self-assessment first. So this is the first time that we've done the self-assessment in digital media, and I already have it opened up. You need to make sure that you're including your first and your last name right here. Make sure that you review the course rubric. You'll see the explanation for the E, S, N, and U. And then I'm telling you to reflect over the week. So all of the activities during the week. Make sure you consider the overall quality of your work that you've been producing, the timeliness of your assignments, your effort, your preparedness, things like that. Provide the letter grade you believe that you've earned, followed by specific examples justifying your opinion. Please feel free to bullet point. Now, should no evidence or specific examples be provided, this will be considered an incomplete assignment by you, and it will be graded accordingly. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move on. Unit 2, Activities A. And you'll see the objectives. So again, we're still working with Google Slides. But the objectives to this section of this unit are to understand basic visual design guidelines. We definitely need some work in this area to understand how to use appropriate graphic images, lines, and boxes, to insert position and size graphic images, lines, and boxes, and to create slides with graphic enhancements. Now on slide 2, we did take a look at the bell ringer visual design activity. Please make sure that you do that. On the first slide, you should be able to identify numerous errors. And then once you take a look at the second slide, you'll see it's basically the same information, but it looks much better. So again, please take note of the differences in the first and second slide. And, why does that second slide look so much better, and why is it so much easier to read? So here we go. Here's some design tips that you need to make sure you're keeping in mind. Number 1 is feel free to use mini slides. Oftentimes, something that I see students do is they're afraid of using too many slides, so they jam-pack just a few slides with way too much information. So that's the idea that I want you to take away from that first bullet point. The second thing, arrange lists to present concepts one at a time as the discussion progresses. And as you know, those lists that you create, so those bulleted items, they really need to be animated so that your audience can focus on one point at a time. Next, your background colors on which your text will stand out. Need to make sure that you're using that. So for example, light text against a dark background, or dark text against a light background. Use all capital letters only in titles, and for occasional emphasis. Make sure you're using keywords rather than complete sentences or even complete paragraphs. Again, we really need a whole lot of work on this right here. Make sure that the text is large enough to be read from the back of the room, and use sound and animation to make a point. So be sure that they're not distracting to your audience. So now I did see some distracting animations in our last presentation. So again, that's something that we need to make sure that we're pretty watchful about. Now, if I go ahead and click on this link, I'll see if I can access the 2 slides that I referenced just a moment ago. And we'll look at them together. But it's about spotting just basic errors. So here's the first slide. It just looks like a blob of information. Everything's in caps. There's complete sentences. It's just kind of, like this humongous paragraph. There are no graphics, no images, not really anything of interest on this slide. And then when I move on to the next slide, you can take a look at some of the improvements that have been made. So again, this is the same information, but notice how the words appear. So I have single words, I have two words, I have a very short phrase. I have room for an image, okay, and I could even do a larger image if I want. It is multicolored. It's not too much, though, in terms of color. We have upper and lower case. And so you'll see the title is upper and lower case as well. So the title doesn't have to be all caps, but it can be. Okay, and you'll notice the organization of the bullets. Again, quickly and very easily to read as opposed to the first slide. If you have questions about any of these activities, please feel free to see me. I'm available every morning beginning at 8:25 and after school by appointment.